Welcome to the Marketing Revolution Podcast. This is the underground movement of savage marketers from all over the world. We are not Fortune 500 companies. We are real entrepreneurs with real businesses that have one major thing in mind: to set goals and devour them daily. Because we understand everyone wants to eat, but only savage marketers are willing to do the hunt. Now let's get this revolution started. Hey, what's up, everybody? John Hiley here with Angela Hiley and the Marketing Revolution Podcast. I got to watch it because we do a couple different podcasts, and I'm always about to call out the wrong one. Yep. But my friends, I got it right this time. So welcome aboard. This is another live podcast. We are chilling here on Monday night. And we are live inside of the Marketing Savage Facebook group. If y'all have not jumped on board yet, get in that group. It's crack-a-lackin'. And I will let you guys know that inside of the Marketing Savage Facebook group, and I'm going to be putting on some mini tutorials and things like that here pretty soon. I feel like we got a vibe everybody loves. Everybody be loving success up in there. Man, there's I don't see any haters up in that bitch. I'm waiting for one to pop up, though, man. I'll be waiting for them to pop up. It's like waiting for a cockroach to come along so you can kill it and get rid of it.
Ooh, but usually once there's one, then a bunch of them appear.
Yeah, but then you got to be the exterminator, and you got to exterminate.
Yeah, kill them bitches.
You got to kill them bitches.
Kill them bitches. So I'm going to tell you all this little story that John was able to pull one over on me this morning. So John is a horrible speller. And
I am actually way better than what I used to be.
John is a horrible speller.
With as much writing as I do, I am way better than what I used to be.
He's still a horrible speller. Because the majority of the time he's like, "Hey, honey, how do you spell blah, blah, blah?" I mean, the other day the man asked me how to spell titties, and I'm like, "You don't know how to spell titties?"
For some reason, it was coming up with the red squiggly line. Like, I spelled titties right.
You don't know how to spell titties.
No, what happened was I spelled titties right, and it came up with a red squiggly under it. And I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't spell titties right. And then I asked her, I'm like, how do you spell titties? And then she spelled it out, and it was the same way I spelt it.
And then I'm like, hold up, let's ask Siri, how do you spell titties?
Yeah. And she spelled it exactly the way that I had titties spelled.
So tell everybody what you did to me this morning.
Oh, I asked her to, it's so funny, right? So I seen this meme on Burton Hughes on his stories. Mm-hmm. And I knew I was going to get, as soon as I seen that meme, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get this girl with that.
Yeah.
I looked at her and I said, so how do you spell, was it butt cheeks?
Butt cheeks.
How do you spell butt cheeks? Is it one word, or do I spread them apart? And she immediately didn't even hear what I said, right? She was like, no. Hold on, let me ask Siri how you spell butt cheeks.
Because
she's like, Siri.
I'm thinking
Siri, how do you spell butt cheeks?
One word, but sometimes you can maybe use it as two words.
And I'm like, honey, do you think I need to spread them apart?
And the light bulb went ding. And I'm like,
so she was already on with Siri, already asking Siri how you spell butt cheeks, and if it stays together, you should spread them apart.
No, if it's, I'm like, is it one word or two words? Because I'm pretty sure butt cheeks is one word.
Yeah. The joys. So anyhow, y'all, why don't you drop inside of the comments where you're from? Let's do that, because some of these groups, I know it kind of looks like a big group, and it's starting to get pretty decent sized. We actually just hit 2,700 members inside of this group, and a lot of you guys might not know this, but I think this group may be getting close to a year old. Oh. So I don't know that it's a full-on year old, but man, that is actually some really good movement, especially because we didn't really cheat. We actually went after people who want to be in the group. So, and I want to say that that's a lot of the reason why. Well, yeah, people can cheat by getting people to add people to the group. It used to be like Facebook back in the day, being this is a marketing podcast. Let's talk about this a little bit, because Facebook back in the day, guys like me, we really took advantage of these group things. And I've got multiple groups in different places. A lot of them are different industry specific and things like that. But back in the day in Facebook, you used to be able to just add people and throw them in the group. Okay. Meaning that we actually we had a guy, Geoff from Australia. And this dude, somehow he was friends with everybody and would add everybody to every one of our groups. And then what you did was you ran contests and stuff like that to add people to the group. Now, Facebook's changed since then because you can add your friends to this group. And I do want you guys to add the friends that might benefit from the group or could take advantage of the group, and it could, make their life better, right? So I want all them people in the group, but Facebook's got it set up where somebody can add you to a group, but it comes in more of the style of an invite. Yeah. So literally people have to like click a button and want to join the group, which you find later on that that's better. And I'm going to tell you guys why. It's because of the Facebook algorithm is only going to serve, if you put a post in the group, it's only going to serve it to so many people. So if there's a bunch of people in the group that don't really have interest in what the group is about, then if Facebook starts serving that algorithm to them people, then they're not going to like it. And then your every post and every comment and everything just dies, right? So I got to say that this contributes. I mean, this contributes to the power of this group. And, there's a lot of engagement, a lot of comments. I'd like you guys to post more questions, really. So anybody who's involved in this, who's listening to the Marketing Revolution podcast and you're not in the group, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Are you not on Facebook? But if you're not, get on over here, jump in the group. And the second thing is, post, ask questions, share. I'm telling you guys, I need some leaders to step up in here because
flavor.
Man, this thing is going to blow up. It's blowing up right now.
We all have our own flavor.
That's right.
Hey, I want to talk about something. So I'm listening to a book, which is one of my favorite authors.
That I told her that she had to listen to it.
Yeah, John was getting after me for like a year, and then I finally decided to take his advice and listen to the first book, and then I was hooked, and then I listened to the second book. Tell them what the first book is. Well, her name is Jen Sincero, and she's one of my favorite authors of all time. Mm-hmm. Me and her are best friends, but she just doesn't know it yet. And the first book,
stalker.
I don't care. You can call me a stalker. That's fine. The first one is.
Hey, that reminds me of when Larry the Cable Guy said he'd eat Shania Twain's poop.
Oh, that's just gross. Okay, so her first book is "You Are a Badass," which is, I love it.
A phenomenal book. I'm just telling you, for all the guys out there,
you should listen to it too.
You really should. I love it. It's actually one of them books I revisit once a year, but. Her next book that she's getting ready to tell you about, I revisit all the time. I love it.
Yes, it is. You are a badass at making money.
Yeah.
Cheddar. We all want that cheddar. But it was so funny because one of my favorite parts of this book is she talks about her mom. And her mother, which is like in her 70s, would go around and call people a twat. And her mother, for the longest time, had no idea what a twat.
She thought it meant a twit.
What it really meant. Like, she was going around calling everybody a twat. But I was like on my walk this morning and I was listening to that part and I was like dying laughing because it reminded me of something that happened to me a long time ago. And John had to correct me and I did not believe him. And he had to call a friend up. And
I had to get a friend on the phone.
I had to have an awkward conversation with this friend. I didn't feel awkward, but he felt extremely awkward.
Even Chris Rock confirmed later on a comedy show. Yes. And it was hilarious because me and her are big Chris Rock fans. We're big Chris Rock fans. We're also big Dave Chappelle fans.
Yeah.
And so we love comedies and shit. I mean, I like Larry the Cable Guy, Ron White, all them guys too.
So it was tossing.
Yeah. So
tossing your salad, right?
One time I told her, I was like, tossing the salad means eating somebody's asshole out.
And I was like, no, it means no, because my dad told me back in the day, I swear this is what he told me. And I mean, I was working in a nursing home at the time and I would like use that phrase. I just, thought it was like you're joking.
You were joking. You were tossing somebody's salad. She thought tossing somebody's salad meant joking around with them. So if she like said the joke to you, like for
Sorry.
instance, like earlier, how I said, "Hey, is butt cheeks one word, or should you spread them apart?"
Mhm.
And so if she got you on that, she would have said, you know, "Ha, I'm tossing your salad," and then everybody in the room be like, "Ooh, okay, all right, all right." So we get together, right, and she starts like tossing this word around. I'm like, "Do you know what that means?" And she's like, "Yeah, it means you're joking with somebody." I'm like, "Tossing your salad does not mean you're joking with somebody." And you know, this is back before Urban Dictionary. We're talking about back when this was like street slang. This was like,
I was like 20 years old. I was 20.
yeah.
I was
So I called
20.
my friend up and I'm like, "Dude, you need to like tell her what tossing the salad means." And I give him the phone, and she's like,
I got-
"Oh my god!"
I got really awkward, but I didn't believe him though either. I thought they were both
and
like.
then Chris Rock comes on, has a comedy show, right?
This was like years
And he
later,
starts talking
years
about
later.
the dude in prison who's the toss salad man. He's like, "Man, get over here and toss my salad." And then immediately she knew what was up. So she knew I wasn't tossing her salad.
But it wasn't. Oh,
I wouldn't toss your salad about the tossing the salad thing, right?
I never used it around like a bunch of people or anything. It was just when I worked in the nursing home when I was taking care
I
of
think
the
we should
elderly.
bring back the honor of that word, tossing your salad. You know, let people know it really means to joke around. It means you're joshing somebody, right? You're just joking around and joshing.
No,
them.
I ain't gonna do that again. Mm-mm.
That's funny. That's
No.
hilarious.
If there's something that I'm like questioning a certain word or a phrase, I go ahead and look that up. Because
So-
there's been some John has like said some stuff to me, and I'm like, "What the
Mhm.
hell does that mean?" He's like, "You don't know what that means," and I'm like, "No, I have no idea what that means. Tell me."
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes his face gets red too because some of the stuff he uses is inappropriate.
Yeah. So here's the heads up, guys. We are moving one last time right now. Some of you guys have been following along.
One
We
more
were
time.
literally, when we moved to Texas, we moved into this Airbnb, right? And we ended up staying there for a month. And we thought that the house was going to be built and finished by the end of that month. And it
was in
wasn't.
July.
Yeah, it was in July. And we found out that it was going to be pushed back a couple months. So a buddy of mine who's a real estate investor, a good friend of mine, Dan Cosentino, had just bought the home that we're in now. He's up in Pittsburgh, right? And he owns a bunch of multifamily. And this is kind of actually the weird thing is this is like one of his very first he's going to be Airbnb in this place, but he's going to be staying here when he flies into town, right?
Super nice.
And so he buys this place, and immediately like I find out that the house has been pushed back. And I just text Dan. I'm like, "Hey, dude, can we stay in your house until?" "Yep, of course. Yeah, you guys can stay there. No problem at all." So we've been staying here. And we actually just went tonight and took a look because we're going to be the closing for the house is going to be on the 17th. And then we're going to be moving in soon after that.
Yeah.
So we actually were scheduled to have furniture dropped off on the 22nd. And so we're going to be moving to the next spot. And one of the cool things about it is it's exciting because if some of you guys have been following us, we actually sold all our furniture from Ohio. We sold all our furniture. So we went and bought all brand new furniture. We got a new office that's going to be, I'm going to have a new office. It's going to have some really cool shelving in the background, kind of like live Edgewood or whatever.
It's very Texan.
It's very
It's
Texan.
very super Texan. John and I, because I was telling Craig and Lisa this. So John had this idea that he wanted to totally decorate this house like very, very manly. And I'm like,
I'm a man.
No,
Of course I want it to look manly. Look, we're in
no.
Texas. Man, that shit's got to look Texan. Like, I found this furniture place, y'all, that fucking made their furniture like it had like cowhide on the sides.
But listen,
Like-
small amounts of it is good. John wanted to do everything, and I'm
I
like,
want this motherfucker looking
no.
like a cowboy saloon. You
No,
know, when you
that-
walk
it's
in,
not. It's not going.
we
to,
want
though.
leather. I want cowhide on the sides.
No.
I want bull horns everywhere.
Listen, he was able to
skulls.
go full blow on his office. The rest of the house has a mixture of, I would say, like very Texan, but kind of like
Mhm.
very what's like that modern farmhouse.
Like a modern farmhouse
Yeah.
feel. Yeah. But my office, on the other hand, y'all, I got a motherfucking office chair that has a full blow cow skin back. I got a cow skin rug in there. I got a big old skull that's going to go on the wall. That's like a steer skull. I got live edge shelving that's going to be behind me. I got a cow skin looking chair.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to be getting, which is really going to be cool for you guys and really going to be cool for anybody who's like a member of my inner circle or any of my training programs, right? Is that I'm going to be getting this TV that has a whiteboard effect to it. And it's a TV, but it also has a computer built into it. And it literally, you've got these markers on the screen and you can do multicolor, but it's all directly on the TV. And it's all done by computer. And it's a really cool way to display in marketing what we call IP, which is intellectual property. And some of you guys have seen me drop some IP, like it will be the pyramids where I show, how you get from, whatever, $70,000 a year up to $1 million a year. And each places you might get stuck and things like that. But it's going to give me the ability to actually do tutorials and talk, and then also use the screen, record the screen, and actually mark on the screen. It's one of the things like football teams will use it. So, a lot of people don't realize this, but football teams, a lot of their practice is like studying the other team, right? So they're understanding what the other team does. They're watching what they do. They're watching tapes all of the time. And what they'll do with these TVs, they'll watch a tape and they'll pause it and they'll actually take the marker and put arrows and stuff like that. And it doesn't actually mark on the TV. It just appears inside of the screen. So be ready for some of that stuff, because not only am I going to come out with that,
He's going to be getting down.
I'm also going to have some killer videos. I think it just using that in general in some of my videos that I have is going to be a great pattern interrupt, meaning that it's something you don't see every day. So because you don't see it every day, it's a scroll stopper. And ideally, I recommend any of you guys, anything that you put out there, you want that effect. You want a pattern interrupt, whether it's the headline, whether it's on the video, something on the video that's going to stop the scroll. You do the old Will Ferrell. I remember the one video that really performed for me really well. Like right at the beginning, I was just like, I don't know what to do with my hands, right? And they're coming up, like this. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm just messing with you guys. Come on, jump on in here, right? But when people are scrolling, they're just like, what's he doing? They got to hit play. They got to listen to it. Another one that was really good, and this is funny because she wanted to do something to this nature, because we got this HD webcam setting panel where we were having such a problem with this office because the mini blind over here. Well, the mini blind's like broken, and it literally like is broken to the point where the little strings that go up and down are like cut off and they're tied at a knot, like way up at the top, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of got like this big open bay window right here where the neighbors are probably can look at us when they're walking in and out, right?
Yeah.
And
like, what are them two people in there doing?
So we had to get this webcam setting thing, and you can like literally you can make this thing any color you want, all that kind of stuff, right? But it reminded me, because some of you guys know the legendary marketer Frank Kern. I'm getting hit with his advertisements all the time. So, I like what he does. I like watching what he does.
He was red.
I like reading his copywriting, but he came on and he was very red. Like we've seen people.
Red as like one of them.
Yeah,
tomatoes.
You've seen people that come on like and they're really bright red. Well, that video like skyrocketed.
Red peppers.
And he's literally running an advertisement like on there. So it's a sponsored video, but it's skyrocketed with comments and all these people like making jokes. They're making jokes. They're like, hey,
might have been burnt.
They're like, hey, Frank, I think you need to add a little more red lighting to the room or something like that. There's just not enough red in there. He did. They said he did.
He got burnt.
Well, he was a mixture of having a bad sunburn, but if you get in front of certain cameras, like if I'm wearing a red shirt in front of a certain camera and certain lighting, my whole body will turn red. And it's same thing if you're sunburned.
Stuff, it makes us look like we're orange, like Oompa Loompas.
Yeah. But it was a pattern interrupt because here you are getting advertised by the guy. And what I love about Frank Kern, some people don't even realize this, that some people think that good ads are the real fancy looking ones, the real pretty ones, the real beautiful ones. And a lot of times they're not, guys. They're the ones that like don't look as much like ads, right? So if you see a real beautiful looking ad, you know that it's an ad. And you're less likely to click on it or something like that. Some of the ads that are really fucking good are the ones that you just don't even know they're ads. They just come scrolling by.
Because it looks normal.
It looks a little bit more normal, a little more normalized. That's a trend right now, though. I just want to keep that in mind. That's a trend, but it's something that.
What, being normal?
Well, yeah. Well, no. I mean,
are you talking about like filters?
Well, no, it's a little trendy because sometimes there for a while emojis were performing really well.
Yeah.
Now they're not performing as well at the very top because now people caught on to if they're putting emojis at the top, it's going to be some sort of ad or something like that. So sometimes you want to present an ad, other times you just got to test it. You got to test it. But in this market right now, I feel like almost blending in, but adding a pattern interrupt to the video or adding a pattern interrupt to the ad is actually performing better than the real fancy stuff, like the real fancy, beautified looking stuff. It's just performing better. And then that's Frank's ads. Like all of Frank's ads are basic. They're like sitting in his basic office. He's talking like even on a phone, and the dude's converting. He's making a lot of money doing this shit. And his ads are effectively not the most beautiful thing that you've ever seen.
Hey, what did you see the other day? And you even said something to me. It was some gal. She was doing like a makeup tutorial thing.
Damn. You know, I had to ask her about this because I did run into something. There was a girl doing what's called like a makeup tutorial, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I don't wear a lot of makeup. I would say like when I put makeup on, does it like change the appearance of what I look like?
Not really.
Okay.
But God, I don't know how else I can say it more tastefully.
Just be honest.
This bitch was ugly. This bitch was ugly. All right. And she did this makeup tutorial, turned into a different fucking person. I was watching this thing and I was like, holy shit. And I was just sitting there thinking, I'm like, damn, like the dude who married her got sucked in with some false fucking advertising, and he's got to wake up to that other version every day. Like every day he's got to wake up to like a toad, and she's got to turn herself into a fucking princess, you know? And I'm like, damn, man, that's like some bullshit, false advertising shit. Like I've ever
get it. I personally
she had a different face, y'all.
They do like different layer. I have no idea.
Like she literally went from I can't even explain it. Like she went from like a 2 to a 7-ish, right? You know, assuming a 10 is like, you know, what a 10 really is, like a 2 to a 7-ish. And it's like, that's a big fucking jump.
She went from an
It's like most people get sucked in by the 7, and then they wake up in the morning and they end up with the fucking 2 every day. Like I'm not trying to be shallow about this. I'm just being fucking legit real about it because that was like somebody painted a whole fucking different head on this chick.
Well, and the thing is like they'll put a shitload of makeup on their face and then they'll throw a filter on top of it, which will even
toss a filter on that bitch. Talk about catfishing like a motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
Man, that catfishing shit, that's the problem, right? You know? Shit, we went to we've been going to Elevate Life Church over here, and it's hilarious. The dude's son was talking about that catfishing and all that kind of stuff a little bit on in the church sermon over this weekend.
Yeah.
And he was also talking, he was like asking his friend, he goes, why do girls when they take the photo on Instagram, they turn like this and they pop their side like this? You know, and somebody told them that's because it makes them look skinny, right? You know, they got this.
It gives us a nice angle. That's really
all these women got these angles. They had makeup for years, right?
Yeah.
Most women wear push-up bras, so it's not even their same titties.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, if they wear high heels, they're a little bit taller, right? They color their hair, so it's not the same damn color as what it should be. Put makeup on their face, they got a totally different face. Now they got fucking filters, so you can't even tell on social media what they look like. And so all of a sudden, you know, men, we tell one lie and a woman gets mad about it, but they're fucking living a lie. These bitches are living a lie. Their whole existence is a fucking lie, a big lie. And they expect us to be honest. You know, our lies are like, what is our lies like? Where was you at today? I was at Jimmy's house.
I know where this is going.
Yeah, that's shit. Some of you guys who listen to Chris Rock can tell I like Chris Rock a lot because that's literally was a lot from his shit right there. I love that shit. What did he say? Women, he said, men tell a lot of lies, but women tell the biggest lies. You know?
I don't know. I mean,
like it's your baby.
Oh, I'm not gonna comment there.
Oh, we were actually talking about the abortion subject, the other day.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to get too deep into political, but it's so funny because she's asking me my opinion on it, right? And I hit her back with the best one. I said, I'm not for abortion. I said, but I ain't against it.
This is bad.
It just depends who I get pregnant.
That's something that Dave Chappelle
said that shit.
Yeah.
She anything she asked me to get serious, she knows I'm just gonna pull from some fucking comedy skit.
No, you did
that I
kind of
heard
get
years ago.
No, you did get kind of serious on that kind of stuff, and then I started like yapping back.
Well,
at
I was asking
out
her
these scenarios.
Yeah,
scenarios.
You guys can hear Texas law where you can't really abort a child after like 5 or 6 weeks, right? And whatever, I've been told if you got a dick, you really shouldn't even have an opinion on this. But there's a lot of people that got a fucking opinion on it and shit like that.
Yeah.
But there are some things to look at, like, okay, so how long do you let somebody, do these things, right? Like how long do you wait before it's bad? And it's almost to the point where, okay, well, if you waited all the way to the end of the pregnancy, like why not just let them have the baby and throw the baby in a dumpster, right? So there's a big fucking dilemma with this thing. Like, I don't know the answer. I don't claim to know the answer. John lives in John's world. Like, I'm trying to perfect my fucking world. And then she comes out of nowhere, hits me with these bullshit ass questions that don't have no fucking, like, there is no fucking answer for that question. And she's going to hit me with this bullshit ass.
Coming out at him with
number two, she going to do it while I'm fucking driving. So she's going to hit me with this bullshit ass question while I'm driving. So I'm just driving along, man. I'm enjoying, man. I'm about ready to listen to some Biggie Smalls, right? You know what I mean? Go listen to that song Juicy because I'm going to be all pumped up, right? You know what I mean? I'm going to be rolling down here, chilling, having a good time, right? And then all of a sudden she looks at me, she goes, "What do you think about this abortion thing?" And I'm like, "What?"
No, I'm pretty sure you brought that up.
No. Hell no.
I'm pretty sure you brought
hell
that
to the
up.
motherfucking no.
I'm pretty sure you probably brought that up.
No. Hell no, I didn't bring that up.
This is I'll give my 2 cents in on this whole situation. It ain't none of my business. That's how I feel about it. It ain't none of my business. Whatever that person does, when they pass on and they're sitting there having that conversation with God, that's between them two. It ain't none of my business. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at a lot of things. I'm just like, it ain't none of my business.
That's
it's
true.
business.
Like, I don't give a fuck. We got like, some butt fucking Brady bunch over here. Like, they're fine with me, man. Like, I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? Like, look, do your thing, bro. Just don't be looking at me like that. Other than that, we're good. Like all this shit that people are like angry and fucking mad about. Like, dude, like, how can you live your life that way? And not to mention the second thing, most of these people that are call themselves Christians and they get mad and angry and shit like that about all of these things. And they're angry at these people. That's not, I hate to say this, but that's not fucking the message. It's just not, it says love fucking everybody. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just does. You know what I'm saying? It says love everybody. So like you can't pick one part and not really go with the other, the rest of it.
That's like the biggest thing.
There was we had a whole sermon about that. That's why I like this church down here. They don't fucking like get in there and start demonizing people and shit like that. And they don't, and they're just not shitty. You know what I mean? They're just not shitty.
People don't understand what somebody else is really going through unless they've actually walked in their shoes. You can have like empathy for these individuals, but do you really, really know? You know what I'm saying?
Jesus Christ flat out said, while you're picking something out of somebody else's eye, and get the fucking plank out of yours. He's basically saying, he basically said, as you're judging people, you're the one that's got the giant fucking stick up your ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's so true. Yep.
A
lot of this shit that goes on in this world and the way the government is, in all honesty, it's none of our business. You know what I'm saying? Why
not just try to be good to people? I honestly think that's the best way that anybody could ever. If you're whatever, if that your job on earth is to try to make people convert over to your religion or whatever the fuck it is, then just be a fucking good human in that religion.
Yeah.
And then people will want to be part of it because they'll want to be a good human too, right? Like, that's what we all desire. We all really inside, we desire that.
sometimes, certain situations get really bad, and then you have to have, the authorities intervene and all this and that. But I mean, I don't know. A lot of stuff.
I always say the two laws, the two types of laws that the two types of laws in this society that I care about are force and fraud. Like you can't live in a free society without the protection of force and fraud. And that's also why the whole abortion thing is a little bit under question for me, right? Because at one point, where do you protect this fetus or whatever baby, the unborn child? At what point do you protect them from force? Right there. That's it. And then, of course, in our society, you can't have a functioning society if people are kicking down the front doors and stealing from people. And it's like mob warfare. You just can't have that. You can't have a functioning community where there's no rule of law. But the two laws that are, if anything, is involved with force or fraud. Okay, you can't have a society where people are allowed to go hang out with, the old lady down the street and rob her for all of her money. You just can't have that, right? So these are the two things that we got to protect in our society. And anything outside of that, when it comes to people's personal opinions, look, man, I hate to bust everybody's fucking bubble out there, but if you really look at this from a Democrat perspective and a Republican perspective, okay? So we got the Republicans over here that want less taxes. They want more freedom in the way, because a certain level in taxes, guys, there's a certain level in taxes where if they tax you so much, it's slavery.
Yeah.
What if 100% went to the government, right? Well, that means you're a slave. You're a full-on slave. So whatever percent of taxes you're paying the government, that's the percentage of slavery that we're under, right? So there's a valid point there. All right. So we got the Republican side, but then they give a fuck about what everybody's doing in their personal life, right? They give a fuck about whatever. So they want to take freedoms from people's personal life that are outside of the scope of force and fraud. Okay. They want to cross that fucking line, right? Well, then you got the side where the liberals are at. Okay. They want to give money to the government, pay taxes, equality for everybody, welfare for everybody, all these things, right? But they want to take away on that side of the fence, but they are for freedom, personal freedom, right? So they want people to have personal freedom. Okay. So what happens is you got two sides that are effectively, let's just say America is this block of wood, right? America is like a tree, a tree trunk. Okay. And let's just say there's a saw on that tree trunk, and it's cutting. And every time it moves back and forth, it cuts a little bit deeper through that tree, okay? You guys have seen these saws, one where it takes two men, one on both sides. One holds one handle and the other handle, and they got to move back and forth together to cut a log, okay? It's like a two-man saw. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what the Republican and the Democrat Party is with the log of fucking freedom. So you got a log there. It's made of fucking freedom, and because the Republicans want to take freedom in one area of your life, the Democrats want to take freedom in your other area of your life, they just pull back and forth on the saw blade as it fucking cuts the log of freedom. And it's designed this way. It's fucking designed this way. You got to understand, like, politicians in general, my friends, like, look, they're in office because they're needed. Okay, they want to be needed. They want to have authority to take away certain freedoms and things like that, right? Because the problem is, in this world, like, I see the world differently. I go through, Mike Kimsky's pass the torch principle. I'm trying to change people's lives so they act right. Because in a world where everybody actually acts right, you don't need these motherfuckers.
You don't need them fuckers.
And don't think they don't fucking know it.
And they
don't think they don't know it. And guys, what I just said here, I really want you all to think about this shit. I really want you to think about this shit, because this right here, what I just dropped right here, is the fight of good versus evil. It is the fight of good versus evil, right? Because the bottom line is, evil does not want us to have the knowledge that we can live a fucking amazing life if we just do good. Treat our neighbors good, be good citizens in a society, be just fucking good people. Like, evil does not want us to think that way. Evil does not want us to step out of victimhood. Evil wants us to be at each other's throat because look, man, it goes back. United we fall, divided we are united or divided we fall. United we stand, divided we fall. Okay. The reason why they said that is because literally right now, y'all, here's what you got to understand. If you have noticed for the last couple years, any topic, any subject, any news heading, it becomes fucking political. And what happens? It literally, the whole country gets split, right? So 50% of the country is for this, 50% of the country is against it, okay? So what happens is the government now can do anything they fucking want because if it pisses off half the country, we got to fight the government and the other half of the country. If it pisses off the other half of the country, then they got to fight the government and the other half of the country. This is why divided we fall. Because now they've got the Republican, they've got the Democrat, both trying to steal freedoms on both sides of the spectrum. They can go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth like a tennis match. And we are in the middle just fucking losing and getting driven into the fucking dirt. But do not worry about this, my friends. Do not worry about this. Have knowledge, understand it, know about it. I believe that there's a big paradigm shift. I believe that the reason why they're so intensely doing these things and these things are happening because there's a big fucking shift going on. And a lot of you guys know, like, I'm a believer. I believe in God. I believe in God. And I'm here to tell you that all these motherfuckers up here at the top that are doing this shit, that are dividing people, that are trying to take, like, God can take them out with his fucking pinky finger. Take them all out. There ain't none of them got a fucking chance. So you know what? I ain't fucking worried. You shouldn't be fucking worried. Be knowledgeable, but don't fucking worry about that shit. Go on, because this world is not going to the evil. It's going to the fucking good, okay? It's going back to where it was created and how it was created. And it's going to be a good world. Like, I'm of this notion, like, I realized the other day that this world in general, everything is perfect in it, right? Everything is perfect, but we're moving towards completion, okay? We're moving towards an educated world. We're moving towards people who actually care about other people, right? Think about other people. And I'm not just talking about charity and all that shit. I'm talking about transactional. I'm talking about if you own a business, you put your customers' well-being ahead of yours. You know what I mean? You give them more than what they paid. Like, we're moving towards this and we're heading towards completion. I truly believe that. But I'm telling y'all, in the next fucking 3 to 5 years, we're going to find some trials and tribulations. We're going through them right now. I mean, we're going through the trials and tribulations right now, but I'm just telling you guys, don't even fucking worry about it. We are going to come out ahead, and it's going to be people. It's going to be, look, I'm telling you that there's a lot of fucking men and women right now being called. There's a lot of y'all being called. There's very few that'll answer the calling, but the ones that answer this calling are going to be the fucking mighty warriors that change this world and reestablish a new world on top of what the fuck this bullshit is that we're going through right now. Okay?
That was good. That was really good.
I mean, I be preaching it all the time. It's what I believe.
I love you, you big burly man, you. Oh, that was good. That was good.
I didn't even know this was going to get political, to be honest with you, and I don't think it really got too political because I'll be honest with you.
When you start going off like that, I'm like, you're in the zone. Like, you go on with yourself, big. And
to be honest with you, like, all this realization that I've had about these things, like, I'm stepping back from the fucking political thing, right? Like, because I don't want to be a part of the division. Now, I'm going to post some fucking funny Joe Biden memes. I mean, I just earned that right. You know what I mean? Like, I went through the whole Donald Trump thing.
I found the best one for him, and that thing went pretty viral, didn't it?
It actually just popped up. There was a Joe Biden meme, and I forgot about this fucking thing, but there was a Joe Biden meme that I posted that got like 60,000 shares, and it got like 100,000 plus likes. And it got, I don't know, like 100,000 comments or some shit like that.
That was like Joe Biden and Bounty.
Yep. And he was the quicker sniffer upper.
Quicker sniffer
upper. because he's always fucking sniffing shit. We know that, right? And just recently, some random dude found it and commented on it or something like that again. And what happens with Facebook, if you've got a post like that that has a lot of weight and somebody comments on it again, meaning it's got a lot of comments, a lot of shares, a lot of likes and stuff like that. Somebody comments on it again, it starts serving it inside of your algorithm. So it's been going gangbusters again. It's like the thing fucking died, and then somebody made one comment on it, and the motherfucker just came back to life. So
I don't care who you are. It's fun to make fun of whoever's president.
Shit, I got called. I literally had a video. I'm sorry.
Come on.
I shared
Even
a
there was
meme.
some stuff from when Trump was president that was funny. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, the one that was like him with the
Come on.
Karen, like he was like dressed up like a Karen. Yeah, that was hilarious. I shared that myself.
It always makes me wonder, like, did he get a spray tan, or was he just like, was he a spray tan kind of person, or did he just like to lay in the tanning bed?
I liked his orange color.
And that blonde hair too. I can't figure out if that was like he had a full head of hair, or people always said he had like a comb over thing going on. I don't know. I mean, hey, he liked it though. I always questioned it.
Yep. Well, y'all, it looks like we are about 40 minutes into this podcast, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this motherfucker up.
Mm-hmm.
And appreciate each and every one of you for jumping on board here. Looks like we got a ton of comments on the Facebook, inside of the Facebook group. I love it. That helps get the word out, my friends. So the more comments, the more likes, everything that you can do on here, I greatly appreciate that, because that helps spread the message. And I appreciate each and every one of you for coming on board tonight.
Yes, we do.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys again, and we'll see you on the motherfucking next one.
And remember, it's all about the motherfucking hustle.